Tonight on CTV News, searching for justice.
I just want to honor him every day, and I just want to be here to show my support to my brother.
A public hearing begins into the death of Myles Gray at the hands of police, what his family is hoping for.
The police do not condone or encourage vigilantism.
Extortion escalation, a troubling twist in the crime wave. Victims accused of firing back.
The laundry room's always messed up, the elevator's always messed up, the fire alarm's always going off.
Tenant troubles how a landlord is using makeshift walls to cram more people into units. And it's not the first time.
This is CTV News with Mijung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. More than 10 years after he died in a violent confrontation with 7 Vancouver police officers, a public hearing into the death of Myles Gray has begun. There have been several investigations, and Gray's loved ones are hoping this time the officers will finally be punished. CTV's Ben Milger was there and joins us live with more. Ben?
Mijung, Myles Gray's mother, Margie Reed, was the first witness to take the stand, testifying about how concerned she was for her son, who had wandered away from a job site earlier in the day. She phoned 911 to report him missing, and a short time later, a police officer told her Myles was dead.
For Myles Gray's family, showing up at inquests and hearings into his death is never easy, but they say it's important.
I just want to honor him every day, and I just want to be here to show my support to my brother.
Myles Gray died in 2015 during a violent confrontation with 7 Vancouver police officers in a Burnaby backyard. The BC Prosecution Service chose not to file manslaughter and assault charges against the officers involved, despite IIO recommending them. A jury at a coroner's inquest ruled Gray's death a homicide. A Police Act investigation found no misconduct on the part of the officers, but the Police Complaints Commissioner ordered the public hearing because of, quote, discrepancies and inconsistencies in the police officers' statements.
If you are authorized to use force in the public interest, you ought to be accountable to the public for that use of force if somebody dies.
At the hearing, Margie Reed, Gray's mother, testified she collapsed to the ground screaming after learning of her son's death. A lawyer for one of the officers questioned her on Gray's alleged drug use. She acknowledged he had been using marijuana, but said she did not know when asked if he had been using steroids. A toxicology report showed no steroids in Gray's system. Ian Donaldson represents the Gray family and has limited participant status at the hearing, which he has applied to upgrade.
I made an application for what I'll call increased or enhanced participant status, which would permit me to cross-examine or examine witnesses, ask questions.
Lawyers for the 7 officers involved oppose the application, and arguments have not yet been heard. If the hearing finds any of the officers breach the Police Act, various discipline is available to the adjudicator, including dismissal. After previous investigations, Gray's sister is not confident that will be the result.
Why would they change now? The cops get away with whatever they want.
5 of the 7 officers involved attended the hearing in person today. 2 others were absent, apparently for medical reasons, but they had lawyers in the room. It's not yet clear if any of the officers plan to testify during the 10-week hearing. Mijung?
Thanks for this, Ben. Now to the latest on the extortion crisis in Surrey. 2 more shootings have been reported over the past few days, including one at a business this morning. And on Saturday, another home was targeted. But as CTV's Ben Nesbitt reports, this time police believe the victims may have tried to take matters into their own hands.
The people living in this Surrey home had a frightening awakening early Saturday morning, as police say gunshots were fired at the property. But unlike previous extortion victims, investigators believe somebody inside tried to meet force with force, allegedly firing shots of their own back outside.
The police do not condone or encourage vigilantism.
It happened in the 8600 block of Galway Crescent. Nobody was hurt. Police are urging other potential victims to not take matters into their own hands.
That puts all of us at risk. There is the very real potential that you may injure or kill your neighbor. And I ask you if you want that on your head. I don't think you do.
On Monday morning, officers were called just after 8 o'clock to a report of shots fired at a business in the 19300 block of Langley Bypass. Police say the shooting happened overnight, and attending officers confirm the building was hit by bullets. The business was closed at the time, and no injuries have been reported. Surrey police say there have now been 34 reported extortion attempts so far this month.
We need continued community pressure on people who are behind this. The last thing we want is for victims or for potential victims to become numb to this. We still need them to call us and contact us.
Police are hoping that somebody must have seen something or at least has dash cam footage. If you do, you're asked to contact SPS. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Surrey.
An investigation is underway after shots were fired inside a high-rise apartment in Surrey overnight.
It does not appear that there was any sort of dispute or fight inside amongst the individuals. It appears at this early stage that they may have just been playing with a gun.
Officers responded to the building on 136 A Street right near Surrey Memorial Hospital around 12:30 a.m. They believe that shots were fired both inside the suite and outside on a balcony from up on the 35th or 36th floor. Police say they detained a number of people they found in the unit, but they have all been released from custody. No injuries were reported, and it's not believed to be related to extortion. If you've been paying more attention to world events, you're not alone. From deadly protests in Iran to American imperialism, political upheaval is having an impact on BC residents, and it's prompting thousands of people to take to the streets. CTV's Penny Daflos takes a closer look.
Demonstrations are a weekly occurrence in Vancouver, but this was large even by our standards. A former MP in attendance estimated
almost 10,000 people
showing solidarity with anti-government protests being carried out by the people of Iran.
We are seeing again and again developments around the world that have real implications for Canada, for Canadians, for British Columbians.
From rallies in support of the Venezuelan people to scrutiny of ICE raids south of the border, there's been an increase in local demonstrations and rallies of various stripes. So much so that Vancouver police drew special attention to the volume expected over the weekend. According to VPD stats, 18 different protests attracted some 17,000 people downtown, with 130 officers assigned to bolster existing patrols. For the average British Columbian, there's one country in particular drawing the most attention, impacting everything from vacation travel to the job market.
I think the biggest one that affects potentially all Canadians is that roiling set of changes that continue to play out in the United States, and the way in which the United States really does seem to have shifted from being a reliable ally, partner, and friend and neighbor to Canada's potentially greatest external threat.
A recent Nanos poll found the two biggest issues of national concern for Canadians were jobs and the economy at the top, with Donald Trump and U.S. relations second. Another reason Mark Carney is in Switzerland for the World Economic Forum as he walks a diplomatic and economic tightrope.
What's good about this, if there is anything good, is that we will probably see a pull aside, that's diplomatic speak, for a quick one-on-one conversation between the Prime Minister and Trump.
As Joe and Jane Public try to stay up to date on international affairs that can have an impact right here at home. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
A school on the Blueberry River First Nation, about 80 kilometers northwest of the city of Fort St. John, has been destroyed by a fire. RCMP say officers were called to the community around 6:30 a.m. Saturday, where crews found the Blueberry Community School fully engulfed in flames. No injuries were reported. In a statement, the First Nations Council called the fire a tremendous loss and said the building had served not only as a school but as a hub for the community. The cause of the blaze remains under investigation. Tenants at a West End building are speaking out tonight, concerned about their safety. 2 years after CTV News broke a story about a rental unit being subdivided with a cardboard wall, residents say the problem has surfaced again. CTV's Isabella Zaffarisi has more on what's happening and the response from the city.
In the middle of the month, a new tenant moves into this West End building. Those who've lived here long term say Ocean Park Place has become a revolving door at their expense.
It just really sucks because all of my good neighbors, the long-term tenants, are leaving.
Tenants say dozens of apartments in this Caprich-owned building are being converted into short-term rentals, subdivided with partitions and makeshift walls, causing chaos.
The laundry room's always messed up, the elevator's always messed up, the fire alarm's always going off.
Some of those CTV News spoke with asked to remain anonymous due to fears of losing their housing.
And those apartments are being converted almost instantly with fake walls, no living space, just bedrooms, 3-4 people crammed into a 1-bedroom apartment that's been converted into a 3-bedroom apartment. That's got to be a fire hazard, that's got to be a health and safety hazard. The long-term tenants are feeling marginalised, isolated, discriminated against, and not wanted.
The listings are posted on sites including Harrington Housing, which advertises rooms to students and young professionals. Vancouver is no longer listed on its website. But only 4 days ago, a local language school posted this video advertising accommodations at Ocean Park Place.
I find it unconscionable.
City Councillor Pete Fry is tabling a motion Wednesday to strengthen enforcement tools.
We're seeing commercial landlords who are dodging the rules around short-term rentals and putting up residential units on short-term rental platforms like Airbnb, but also other more fringy ones. And what we struggle with as a city is to catch them.
CapREIT says leases have a minimum term of 31 days and are therefore not short-term tourist rentals. It adds Harrington Housing is required to comply with all municipal bylaws, including permits. But the city says it hasn't issued any permits or received any applications to subdivide units at Ocean Park Place. It adds illegal construction or unsafe alterations pose real fire and life safety risks. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
Police in Port Moody are asking the public to help identify 2 suspected male thieves. Surveillance video from the building in the Inlet Centre area captures a man and woman as they're buzzed into the building in the early morning hours of January 9th. They later leave with armfuls of what appears to be packages. Anyone who recognizes the pair is asked to contact Port Moody Police. It was another hazy day across Metro Vancouver with dense fog limiting visibility. A yellow advisory for fog is in place across the region, which is expected to last until tomorrow. Environment Canada says while the fog clears up in the afternoon, it will likely develop again overnight. They're warning drivers to be prepared for near zero visibility in some areas. Let's take a look at what it is like right now. This is the view from Grouse Mountain. It is 6:12, quite an eerie scene, but it looks really cool, I think.
I know. I don't know if it's scary or if it's romantic.
A little bit of both, maybe.
Little column A, column B. Well, me, John, you're in luck. If you like today, more of the same tomorrow. So if you're a big fog fan, yes, yellow advisory will be in effect through tomorrow. So tomorrow, expect the same as today. A little bit of sun, a little bit of cloud, and a little bit of fog, depending on what area you're looking at. And there's also a special air quality statement in place right now as we speak for the Cariboo region, Quesnel, and Prince George. But the big story is the fog. Let's take a look at the current temperatures. 5 in Vancouver, 5 in Surrey, 4 in Abbotsford. So a little chilly, and we're going to get very cool overnight. Yes, the fog is coming back into the picture and will remain through at least the first part of tomorrow. A little bit of sun, a little bit of fog.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next trip by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
So Mijung fog makes for fantastic photos, but not so good for driving. Again, a reminder that visibility will be near zero in some places, so take care.
And adding to the treacherous nature, the roads are really icy in the morning because it's been so cold.
Because it's been so cold. So give yourself some extra time tomorrow morning.
Okay, thanks a lot, Caroline. The Orca Behavior Institute is sharing some incredible video it captured showing just how brutal nature can be, and it isn't for the faint of heart. Video captured the whales from the Big's transient killer whale population hunting a stellar sea lion off Victoria. The sea lions have sharp teeth and claws weighing up to 1,100 kilograms. The group worked in tandem, ramming the sea lion, creating a lot of action on the surface of the water and putting on quite a show for those who were lucky enough to witness the hunt.
At times, we would see the whale very quickly move. We might see, the fins on the backside of that stellar come up, or there was definite contact while we were out there too. And as the hunt progressed, we started seeing that stellar sea lion at the surface less and less. So I think it got very tired, probably suffered some internal injuries, and then eventually succumbed to that predation event.
Transient orcas have to consume roughly 200 kilograms of food per day and have diversified their diets, feeding on seals, salmon, porpoises, as well as smaller whales. On the other hand, our resident killer whale population continues to struggle due to its single declining food source, Chinook salmon. The owners of a dog killed in a trap west of Radium Hot Springs in BC are calling for changes to trapping policies. Moon, a 2-year-old husky, died on January 8th after being caught in a bear trap while off-leash just meters from the road. An investigation determined no offense had occurred because the trap was placed in a legal area during trapping season and warning signage had been placed in the area. However, Moon's owners are trying to raise awareness about traps.
I hope it's a catalyst for some change. There's got to be better signage, not a sign several meters from the baited trap. That's just pretty poor kind of management and negligent actions, I believe.
They've also proposed Moon's Law in hopes of ending commercial and recreational trapping on BC public land. A search and rescue group on Vancouver Island is reminding off-roaders to be prepared for winter conditions when heading into the backcountry. Over the weekend, the Alberni Valley Rescue Squad helped a stranded driver in the Mount Arrowsmith area. The crew says while the mountain doesn't have the seasonal snowpack it normally does, the conditions can still be difficult to navigate. It is urging drivers to make sure you bring chains, shovels, extra layers, blankets, fire starter, and extra food when heading out. Doctors are sounding the alarm about how the World Cup could buckle our healthcare system. We'll explain coming up. And
whether you're holding a replica or a BB gun, it does not matter to a police officer. We're going to treat it as a real firearm.
The danger posed by replica guns. Provincial regulations cracking down on them have been in the works for years. What's the holdup? The story when CTV News at 6 continues. Stay with us. A provincial agency to tackle organized crime in the province says police are dealing with replica guns on a daily basis. The province is working on regulating how these imitation firearms are transported and stored. But as CTV's Isabella Zaffarisi reports, some business owners don't agree with tighter rules.
In 2020, RCMP stormed a Campbell River townhouse after a neighbor called police, saying they saw a weapon. What triggered the response? A BB gun.
I think this happens almost on a daily basis with all across, not just BC, all across Canada.
Imitation firearms, including airsoft, BB and pellet guns, are easy to access, sold at stores such as Canadian Tire. They're used by hunters, hobbyists, young people, and gangs. Their prevalence complicating how officers respond.
Whether you're holding a replica or a BB gun, it does not matter to a police officer. We're going to treat it as a real firearm.
But despite looking like the real thing, provincial laws to store and transport these guns have yet to be enacted, and that can have tragic consequences. In 2025, neurodivergent teenager Chase de Ballenhard was shot by Surrey RCMP while holding a pellet gun.
The pellet gun was up in my office. It was locked. I unfortunately had unlocked that drawer to get something else out.
In 2021, BC introduced the Firearm Violence Prevention Act to close some federal gaps, such as prohibiting imitation guns in schools and hospitals.
Any government, when they are making restrictions about anything, what they're always going to be mindful of is our Constitution and the Charter and Rights of Freedoms. And what that means is that they are always primed for lawsuits and people filing constitutional challenges against laws.
This is our most expensive rifle.
In Richmond at Trigger Airsoft, employees provide education around transporting guns.
You have to have an actual like a gun bag or gun case to carry your rifles.
Owner Ken Cow says he doesn't think provincial regulation is necessary.
I think common sense is the best regulation.
5 years later, the province says the act still needs to be brought into force by regulation. As for when that may happen, it adds it's unable to provide a date. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
Vancouver first responders are sounding the alarm over a drop in blood donations over the winter.
Winter can be a challenging time for blood collections in Canada. We have across the country icy roads, cold weather, seasonal illnesses. So it's a really important time to step up.
First responders rolled up their sleeves today as part of the Sirens for Life campaign to further encourage donors. Anyone who donates blood or plasma or joins the stem cell registry this winter can enter for a chance to win round-trip tickets for 2 to any Air Canada destination. Doctors in Vancouver and Toronto are worried that an unexpected surge in patients during the FIFA World Cup could push the already overburdened healthcare system over the edge. Measles, foodborne illnesses, and COVID-19 have all been flagged as potential concerns. Both Vancouver and Toronto have wastewater surveillance systems set up to detect infectious disease outbreaks should they occur during or after the World Cup. Catastrophic train crash in Spain. Dozens are killed when a train bound for Madrid collides head-on with another train. Also coming up.
Just to show the Americans that, you can't push around a NATO ally.
In the face of Greenland tensions, Canada could be sending a small number of troops there. The potential fallout from the U.S. That's ahead. A massive pileup shut down a highway in Michigan today. Officials say about 100 vehicles were involved in the chain reaction crash, including 30 to 40 semi-trucks. A number of injuries have been reported, but so far no fatalities. Weather conditions in the area have been deteriorating all day, with blowing wind and heavy snow creating whiteout conditions at times for drivers. The death toll from a deadly train crash in Spain has risen to 39, with dozens more injured. It happened when a train bound for Madrid derailed and the tail end crossed over to the opposite tracks, colliding with another train. Experts say a faulty rail joint may have played a role in the crash. Spain's prime minister has declared 3 days of mourning. A 19-year-old Canadian woman was found dead this morning near a popular tourist site in Australia. The woman was found unresponsive on Gari, an island off the country's east coast. 2 men driving past the beach saw a pack of wild dogs near the body. Authorities say it's too early to know if the dogs were involved with the death. An extreme cold warning has been put in place for parts of Manitoba. Temperatures could reach as low as 40 below zero in parts of the province with the wind chill. Several school divisions in the province were forced to cancel classes this morning because of the icy temperatures and dangerous road conditions. A senior government source tells CTV News Ottawa is thinking about sending a small contingent of soldiers to participate in NATO training exercises in Greenland. CTV senior political correspondent Mike LeCouture on the balancing act as Trump threatens additional tariffs on other EU countries.
The picturesque landscape of Greenland could soon host a handful of Canadian soldiers. The members of our military would participate in training exercises with a number of European allies.
They framed it as a long-planned military exercise.
Canada's former ambassador to NATO says these deployments were originally planned to deter Russian action, but it could have the same effect on President Trump.
Trump is taking it as a message, and perhaps, unspoken, the allies will think of that as a way of changing Trump's risk calculus.
Canada's troop commitment would likely be less than the dozen soldiers Germany is sending to Greenland. Still, there could be blowback for Canada, as U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening tariffs on any ally that sends troops.
Just to show the Americans that, you can't push around a NATO ally and threaten to take over a country against their will.
Now, to minimize the political fallout, some suggest appealing to Trump in a different way.
Try to turn the tables a little bit and say, let's all be in this together when it comes to the defense of the Arctic in North America, rather than make it appear as if somehow we're marshalling a force to defend Greenland from the Americans.
NBC News is also reporting Trump is complaining to aides about Canada's vulnerability in the Arctic. That's despite Canada already committing $6 billion to an over-the-horizon radar system for the far north.
We have to do more in our Arctic, but we also have to be kind of calm. More important thing is to work with our Arctic allies to deter and to get ready for any threat.
But the source of that threat in a rapidly changing geopolitical landscape depends on where you are in the world. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
Mark Carney and Donald Trump will both be in attendance at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland this week. This comes as the president is reportedly ratcheting up his criticism of Canada behind closed doors. Trump is said to be fixated on Canada's ability to defend the Arctic, the same argument he's using for acquiring Greenland. Meanwhile, Carney is expected to talk about trade and diversifying Canada's partners, while Trump's latest tariff threats continue to take over. There are currently no indications Trump and Carney are planning to meet, but the Prime Minister says he intends to raise concerns about Greenland if they do. Two comedy heavyweights will be in Vancouver for the Just for Laughs Festival. Also ahead.
There's a lot riding on this case for Harry. Money and reputation.
Prince Harry is back in the UK suing the Daily Mail. What King Charles thinks of the legal battle, and will Harry be getting together with his father and brother? That's ahead. Prince Harry is in court in London this week as he and other celebrities, including Elton John, sue the publisher of the Daily Mail. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the details.
How are you feeling confident?
Prince Harry is back in the UK and in court, taking on the tabloids. Harry, alongside 6 other high-profile names, including Elton John and Elizabeth Hurley, suing Associated Newspapers, the publishers of the Daily Mail, for illegal information gathering. Arguing that back in the 1990s and early 2000s, the newspaper group paid private investigators to bug their homes and cars, listen in on their phone calls, even bribe police for sensitive information. Associated Newspapers denies all allegations, calling them preposterous, adding they are unsubstantiated and highly defamatory claims based on no credible evidence. Harry is due to testify later this week, a rarity to see a royal in court.
There's a lot riding on this case for Harry. Money and reputation. He feels he has to continue with his fight. Otherwise, he would have not taken on all the main media outlets, and the Associated Newspapers are fighting all the way.
The prince has said his strained relationship with the press is one of the reasons he and his wife Meghan left royal life and moved to California back in 2020. That publicized step back from official duties also fracturing his relationship with his family.
I would love reconciliation with my family. There's no point in continuing to fight anymore. As I said, life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has,
The king, when he met Harry and William, made it very clear that he thought taking on the press, the British press, was a suicide mission, which he feels the king could damage the relationship between press and monarchy.
Harry is currently in London, but this week both the king and Prince William are in Scotland, which could make a meeting between the family very difficult. We reached out to the palace and they have yet to respond. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, London.
A Las Vegas-style Sphere is coming to the Washington, D.C. area. The venue will be built at National Harbor, just south of the U.S. Capitol. The new Sphere would have an exterior light display, but only about 6,000 seats compared to the 17,000 in Vegas. Officials say it could help replace lost entertainment venues in the area, but state lawmakers still need to sign off on the project before it moves forward. A pair of big names have been announced for next month's Just for Laughs festival in Vancouver, including one of the all-time greats of late night. David Letterman will bring his comedic stylings to JFL Vancouver this year. The festival says it's the first time the former late-night host will be performing in Canada since 1978. He'll be joined on stage by star of the Hangover franchise, Zach Galifianakis, at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre on February 18th. Just for Laughs will run from February 12th to the 22nd. Caroline, that's quite a coup to get David Letterman and Zach Galifianakis sharing the stage.
That is going to be quite a show. It's going to be kind of chaotic. Those two together.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And I don't know if many people know, but Zach Galifianakis actually lives in BC part-time.
Really?
So he doesn't have too far to go.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He likes, I think, being away from the craziness of Hollywood.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Even though we're called Hollywood North, we're a little more subdued.
We're a little tamer. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I bet you he likes the fog, because that is what we have a lot of. Yeah. How's that for a segue? Let's take a look. In all seriousness, we do have a fog advisory in effect, the yellow advisory now through Tuesday afternoon for Haida Gwaii, inland Vancouver Island, and parts of Metro Vancouver, which includes Surrey and Langley. And if that weren't enough, a special air quality statement is in place for Caribou North, including Quesnel and Prince George. Here is a look at our weather tracker. This is, we're all messed up here today. We've got some technical difficulties going on, but that's okay. We're working with it. Here we are. This is what we are looking at. Yes, we've got some fog. We've got some clouds. This is your look at your morning commute tomorrow, and it's going to be a very, very foggy morning. Think of it just like as today. Tomorrow is going to be a little bit of sun, a little bit of cloud, and a little bit of fog, depending on where you look. Let's take a look at the next 24 hours. Foggy conditions. Yes, the fog and very cool temperatures are in store. As for tomorrow, again, kind of like today, mainly foggy with some clouds, with some sun, depending on where you look. We're going to hit a high of 9 degrees tomorrow. Let's take a look at the forecast. Now beginning in Port Hardy, you're going to see a high of 8 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud. Campbell River and Comox, mainly sunny skies, and a high of 8. To the South Island, Tofino, high of 11 degrees under mainly sunny skies. Port Alberni is under a fog advisory, so be careful out there, near zero visibility. Victoria will see a high of 10 degrees. As for the Sunshine Coast, you will see some sunshine tomorrow, high of 7 degrees. Squamish, 10 degrees. Whistler, high of 4 under a mix of sun and cloud. And again, tomorrow we're going to see some foggy conditions yet again, a little bit of sun and a little bit of cloud. So again, just kind of like today. The fog is expected to lift by Wednesday. We've got a nice Thursday and Friday in store, and then just in time for the weekend, yes, dark clouds and showers. CTV Weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for Airline and Sea Vacations.
Yeah, you can see the sun trying to punch through the fog. Most of the time, the fog was winning today.
The fog was winning. I mean, if you look over here, you see the sun. You look over here, you see the cloud. Tomorrow's going to be more of the same.
Yeah, where you should be is on the mountains, and then you can have that inversion, right?
The view.
Yeah, it's spectacular up there. All right, thanks a lot, Caroline. Well, Canada's a wealth gap, how billionaires are getting richer faster, and they definitely don't have to worry about this.
There's less coffee beans being produced and there's more global demand, and that's driving the prices up.
Coffee prices saw a major hike. That's not all fueling inflation. Price pain at the grocery store. That's ahead.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch. Foggy skies can be seen hovering over Vancouver's Vanier Park.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 72 cents to the American dollar. Oil was up 9 cents, closing the day at 59.43 cents U.S. a barrel. Gold gained more than $81 on the day. The TSX ended the day higher, up 50 points. And U.S. stock markets are closed for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. New data is confirming Canada's ultra-wealthy are getting even wealthier at a much faster rate than most Canadians. According to a new report, the wealth of Canada's 40 richest people grew by more than 20% last year to reach almost $550 billion. There are now at least 89 billionaires in Canada, and the country's wealthiest 1% now hold almost $1.25 trillion. That is almost as much as the entire bottom 80% of people combined. Inflation in Canada ticked up slightly last month compared to a year before, when Ottawa implemented a GST break, which helped bring prices down. But for Canadians struggling to make ends meet, expenses are still headed in the wrong direction. CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin now on the struggle at the grocery store.
In these cookies, there's a secret ingredient.
You have a passion for coffee.
I'm obsessed, a little bit. Stephanie Presta started a home business, Montreal Latte Heart, combining that shot of caffeine with another passion, baking.
So I infuse my cookies with my coffee, and the coffee makes the flavors really come out of the cookies.
But that is now a recipe for higher costs. The latest Statistics Canada inflation numbers show coffee went up 30% annually, and that sweets were also pricier.
Weather variability and lower yields just means that there's less coffee beans being produced and there's more global demand. And that's driving the prices up.
A similar story has unfolded for beef prices. They're up 16%. The cattle stock in Canada is low, boosting prices. Coffee and beef are the main staples that saw a 5% hike annually for grocery items. But overall, many economists see some positive signs for food inflation in the report.
If you take out beef and some of the secondary effects on proteins, take out coffee, take out a couple of other things that have had extreme weather issues, the news is relatively optimistic for food prices going forward.
For Presta, relief from rising prices could mean investing in her passions is worth all the hard work.
There were moments this Christmas where I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
And with the cost of dining out going up too, it's hard to find a treat at a sweet price. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
It is the third Monday in January, today known by many as Blue Monday, or the most depressing day on the calendar. It started as a promo campaign for a UK travel company more than 20 years ago and was quickly debunked. But the premise rings true for many, with fewer daylight hours and the arrival of holiday bills. Doctors say regardless of its origin, Blue Monday has brought attention to seasonal depression. Air Transat is planning to introduce a new loyalty program for the second half of this year. The airline has not offered any details yet, but says the collaboration with Desjardins Group and Visa will offer travelers exclusive benefits and an improved experience. The company insists it will also create value for Transat and its investors. A sunbather has a whale of a tale to tell after a surreal close encounter with a pair of curious orcas. Plus, dog walk song. Adam finds out why a woman walking her dog says her pup is more than just her best friend. Coming up on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Right now, here's Carrie with a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
Cameras in public places justified or an invasion of privacy? Tuesday on Your Morning Vancouver, what a recent ruling on surveillance and traffic cameras means for you.
Bobsleigh's like Formula One on ice.
And with the Olympics approaching, a new documentary series takes a behind-the-scenes look at bobsleigh, what athletes hoping to compete for Canada go through. We'll see you in the morning.
Sad news for the fashion industry. Legendary Italian designer Valentino has died. Valentino opened his first studio in 1959 in Rome, growing into a fashion empire with designs turning heads on runways and red carpets around the world. He's credited with creating an iconic and vibrant shade famously called Valentino Red. Valentino was 93 years old. The Vancouver Canucks are mourning the death of the man who created the team's first visual identity. Joe Borovich designed the iconic stick and rink logo that appeared on Canucks jerseys when the team made the NHL debut in 1970-71 season. He died on New Year's Eve at the age of 86. The Canucks said Borovich's timeless design played a significant role in shaping the identity of the franchise and continues to hold a special place in team history. Well, the Vancouver Canucks rebuilding process has taken another step, trading away forward Kiefer Sherwood. The Canucks have shipped Sherwood to the San Jose Sharks in exchange for defenseman Cole Clayton and 2 second-round draft picks. The 30-year-old American put up a team-high 17 goals with the Canucks this season and 63 points in 122 career games with Vancouver. The Canucks are currently on a 10-game losing streak and sit dead last in the NHL.
Turning in the corner, trying to get away from Pedersen, centers, Kapanen scores!
Following a 6-0 loss on the weekend, the Canucks will be desperate to end that losing streak tonight against former captain Bo Horvat and the New York Islanders. The Canucks won the previous meeting on Long Island 4-1 back in December and are yet to win a game in 2026. The puck drops just after 7 at Rogers Arena. Now, if they do lose and it's an 11-game streak, that would actually be a record for the Canucks. But we don't want to make that kind of record, do we?
No, absolutely not. That's not fun for anybody, for the fans or I'm sure the players. Yes. Streak ends tonight. Sorry, Mr. Horvat.
Okay, have you guys ever had a close encounter with a whale?
Yes.
You have? Okay, well, check this out. A man who was enjoying some sunshine while floating in a New Zealand harbor got quite the surprise when he discovered he had some friends very close.
He's completely oblivious. He's lying down on his back.
Eyewitnesses spotted the close encounter first, capturing video as the whale circled the platform where the man was sunbathing. The sunbather finally figures out he's not alone when one of them sprays water into the air. The man said he wasn't panicked, but quickly swam to shore, saying he didn't want to end up as whale food.
Okay, my encounter wasn't that close.
Okay.
That encounter beats mine.
Okay. Well, Dimitra is trading her reporter hat for anchor hat tonight. Welcome. So what's coming up tonight at 11:30?
Yeah, lots happening tonight. Good evening, gentlemen. It's good to be with you. Tonight at 11:30, the CEO of Vancouver Long-Term Care Home is sounding the alarm over what he calls a growing funding shortfall. Louis Breyer Home and Hospital says the province's rollback of COVID-era support is making it harder to staff and care for its more than 200 residents. Tonight, what the CEO says is at stake in Vancouver Coastal Health's response.
All right, thanks a lot, Dem. Finally, Adam meets a pair of Vancouver best friends who go on walks together every day while searching for inspiration to be the best versions of themselves. On tonight's Sawatsky Sign-Off.
Huh? Thank you.
Ruth with the paws.
Good girl.
And Delilah with the treats.
Good girl.
Or more than just pup and person.
She's my best friend. I love her.
Ruth is also the sort of friend who, no matter the weather, no matter the mood,
sometimes I'm tired and I just don't really feel like doing it,
encourages Delilah to get out and pursue her passion.
I feel like within the first 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, this is my favorite thing. So I like doing it.
Because although this begins like any ordinary dog walk,
I need to give her a little attention before I can lock in with the singing.
It evolves into an extraordinary vocal workout. While Delilah Fabiola is a singer who's working on her own album after recording vocals for her friends, Ruth plays multiple roles.
She just inspires me to be the best version of myself.
Now she's a canine coach, walking up to 3 hours a day to push her person to keep improving her performance.
Every day.
Every day?
Every single day, yeah.
Ruth can also be a cheerleader, wagging her tail when Delilah hits all the right notes.
I've played songs that I've made, and I've seen her kind of look at like the speaker and look at me, and it's cute.
On the other hand, whenever life feels out of tune, Ruth is a consistent and cuddly confidant.
I love her. She's my baby.
While other creative collaborators, from Lennon and McCartney to Sonny and Cher, may be better known, you can bet that Delilah Fabiola and Ruth will never stop making meaningful music together.
Because she's the greatest love of my life, I think.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by
CapitalDirect.ca. Let's make your vision a reality with Capital Direct. Call and talk to our team today.
It's sweet, the bond that they have, isn't it?
A little bit of joyful noise on your walk.
Oh,
yeah. The little puppy dog eyes.
And she's a great singer.
Love that. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot, shall we? Very on brand, very foggy. Thanks again for sending this in. If you want your photo featured, email us, scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
All right, thanks a lot.